Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to be on this afternoon. We want to welcome all those who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio, 100.5 FM out of Labbe in Grenville, and indeed right along out of Brooklyn, New York. We welcome all of you to another Heartbeat episode. Well, today is actually 7 days after this most horrible hurricane which hit Grenada. But we are a resilient people. We have been tested in more ways than one. We have shown that we have the strength and we can rebuild, not just homes, but rebuilding lives. Carriacou and PM regrettably had the brunt of this most unfortunate hurricane. But the people of Grenada, in the state of Grenada, and in particular Carriacou and PM, they are extremely resilient. They are showing hope, they are showing aspirations, they are showing the ability to bounce back already. It is going to take a long time, but that is dependent on how hard we work and how smart we work. But we will rise, and we will rise from this most unfortunate incident, a hurricane. And it seems that they may be coming at us earlier than expected. June was considered to be a very early time in the year to experience a hurricane. But it has been with us. And we are thankful for the vision, for the hard work, the tenacity, the strength, the togetherness that Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell has shown to the nation, has shown to the people of Grenada, Carriacou and PM. His leadership has not been wanting. His leadership was one of pure vision, pure togetherness, showing the people how resilient he and his team can be, showing the strength of his leadership, and showing that he has the capacity to rebuild and rebuild better. We will rise again. That is our message. So for today, the Heartbeat is going to share with you excerpts of the Prime Minister's recent messages to the nation, and coupled with reports coming out of Carriacou from the Honorable Tevin Andrews and other members of the government, sharing what went on during the storm and after the storm. Post reports from the various constituency representatives and indicating some of the positive stuff that has come out of this most unfortunate experience. So stay with us. We'll be back with you in a moment as we continue to share these messages with you.
Caused unimaginable damage in Grenada. We're joined now by the Prime Minister of that country, Deacon Mitchell. He joins us from St. George, Grenada. Prime Minister, thanks for being here. I know that you have been touring, you've been very busy surveying the damage across Grenada, so we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to talk with us here on Canada Tonight. Tell me about the situation now, particularly in Carriacou, because we understand that roughly 95% of roofs there have been completely ripped off, and there's a lot of damage.
Yes, there is. Right, are you hearing me?
Prime Minister, can you hear us?
Okay, good. Yes, so thank you for having me on. And the damage to the northern part of Grenada has been substantial. There's been severe damage to housing, severe damage to agriculture. On the two small islands of Carriacou and PM, the damage is almost complete. It's devastating. That's the only way to describe it. Complete destruction of the electric grid, complete destruction of the communication system, complete destruction of agriculture, the environment, or mangroves, and complete destruction of housing, public buildings, health infrastructure, police infrastructure, port, airport, all severely impacted. So in the case of Carriacou and PM, we're actually talking about complete devastation. So it's really a grim picture, and it is obviously quite a challenging time because there's no electricity, very limited communication, and water is still not back to, and it will not be back at least for another 2 weeks, based on the initial assessment that we have.
Okay, so those two islands completely devastated. We're looking at pictures of Carriacou right now and some of the destruction. It is unbelievable. What is your government doing to help the people on those two islands right now?
All right, so right now the focus is on relief effort. We are providing food, we are providing water, we are providing tarpaulins, basic necessities, generators, just to make sure that our residents are comfortable. We will have a relief surge this weekend. Many volunteers from Grenada will go up to assist with ensuring that we can deliver and continue to deliver food, sanitation and hygiene kits, tarpaulins, and other basic necessities throughout the length and breadth of the islands. That we expect will continue for a significant and prolonged period of time because of the level of destruction. After we get to that, the next stage will then be cleanup because the roadways were filled with debris, fallen power lines, fallen communication lines, zinc and galvanized sheeting, lumber, etc. So stage 2 would be cleanup, and obviously the medium-term stage 3 will be rebuilding. But that obviously will take some time. So for now, our main focus is on relief and ensuring that our citizens are made as comfortable as possible. I have to point out to you that we are only at the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. So with many of our citizens being homeless, roofless, it is a major challenge because it means just normal things like rainfall becomes a bit of a nightmare because you essentially have nowhere to go, or you are going to get wet with rainfall, or you have to suffer extreme heat because it's the summer season as well. So focus on ensuring that we can start to repair some of the shelters and larger buildings that will be used as community shelters will also be part of our focus. But it is going to be difficult, no doubt, but we are committed to doing so.
And Prime Minister, we saw that our Minister of International Development, Ahmed Hussein, put out on social media a short time ago that Canadian aid is on the ground in the Caribbean. Have you been in touch with the Canadian government? Is there international aid on the ground there right now from Canada, from the Red Cross and other partners?
Yes, so I've been in touch with the minister. We spoke on Wednesday afternoon while I was touring one of the devastated villages in the north of the island. He indicated that the Canadian government had pledged initially $1 million as an initial reaction to the hurricane. We know normally they will coordinate with some of our regional partners through CDEMA, which is a Caribbean regional response agency for disaster management in the region. We anticipate that we will continue to speak with the minister and the Canadian government to unlock more assistance, both in the relief and the rebuilding effort. Myself and other prime ministers who are affected are meeting tomorrow afternoon, and after that we expect to have deeper engagement with the international community, including Canada.
You know, there are people around the world, including in this country, still missing for loved ones. What should their next steps be? What's your advice to them?
Right. So I think in the case of Grenada, if you have not been able to contact a loved one, you can certainly contact the National Disaster Management Agency here, or any government agency, and you can give us the name of your loved one and their last address, and we can certainly help to find them. I would say in Grenada, that should be quite easy. Communication is pretty much back in most of the island. Power is restored to about 80% of the island. Carriacou and PM, it's a little more challenging because there's no power, and communication to a large extent is still down. But travel between the islands are resuming. We can go by boat. We are going by small planes during the daytime. So once we have the name of the persons, we can certainly assist. So they can contact any government ministry in Grenada or the National Disaster Management Agency, and we'll certainly help you locate your loved ones. I mean, I would say we do not have any missing persons reports. So I think we're pretty confident that it's just a question of locating and communicating with the persons.
And how long, and this might be a difficult question to answer at this point, but how long do you think it will take for Grenada to recover from this? And also, is there anything that your country needs right now from the international community?
Well, I think we certainly need cash, to put it simple, to pay for the relief effort at a minimum, and we will need tons of cash to pay for the rebuilding effort. In the case of Carriacou and PM, we're talking complete and total devastation. So we have to rebuild, and not just rebuild, but rebuild in a manner that is resilient and sustainable. If we are going to get Hurricane Category 4 and 5 storms right at the beginning of the Atlantic season in July, when the summer is just starting at the end of June, and if they're going to cause this level of destruction, I don't think there's any doubt that the warming of our oceans is fueling the ferocity of those storms and is creating havoc and putting our lives and our livelihoods, our actual civilization, our very existence into jeopardy. It can't be right that we are asked to pay for these things repeatedly and rebuild every 5 or 10 years when these storms come. So we certainly need significant financial support. And I'm not talking here about loans. I'm talking grant funding because, as I've said in previous interviews, this is about climate justice. This is about the reality that the warming of the oceans and the warming of the atmosphere is not done by small island developing states like Grenada or any of the Grenadine islands that have been devastated. They're done by the large industrialized countries who created their economies based on fossil fuels, became wealthy off of it, continue to remain wealthy, continue to, in fact, pollute. They are not adhering to the 1.5 degrees Celsius initiative. It's quite clear we are not going to get there. And this continues. So somebody has to pay for this. And we are therefore going to continue advocating for climate justice and demanding climate justice. So we certainly need large amounts of cash. To some extent, we also need technical capacity and technical support, because if we're going to build back more resilient islands, if we're going to build back more resilient buildings, we also need to deploy technologies that help to reinforce that resilience. So I would certainly say large amounts of cash, large amounts of technology transfer, and technical capacity.
We've got to let you go, but I do want to ask one last quick question, because I know that you have a nightly address to the nation since this all happened at 9 p.m. What are you telling the people of Grenada right now whose lives have been completely ripped apart for them to have optimism? What's your message to them?
Well, I think that the starting point is if you're alive and you are not injured, that in and of itself is a reason to be grateful and to be thankful, because to some extent, the consequences of this storm could have been far more devastating. There is a part of us that feels to some extent that notwithstanding the devastation, that we've dodged a bullet. So I think from that point of view, we have to be grateful for being alive. But I think second, we are resilient people. We were struck by a very dangerous storm back in 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago in September. We rebuilt, we became stronger as a result. We learned many lessons. I think simply our response to this disaster, for example, is significantly better than it was 20 years ago. And so we have to continue living. We have no choice. This is the part of the world that we inhabit. It's a beautiful part of the world. It's part that is worth fighting and preserving, not just for us, but for generations of people to come and for the rest of the world, including people who come from the big polluting industrialized countries. So we're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for them so that they could enjoy peace of paradise. And in those circumstances, I think we have an obligation to continue rebuilding our communities, rebuilding our culture, rebuilding our way of life. We have a lot to offer to the world. And so it is important for us to remember that. And we will get through this. It's still early days. It's a couple of days since the hurricane. Relief is on its way. We are providing the supplies. We do have a lot of friends and partners who are working with us, international donor agencies. And we feel confident that we will rebuild.
Prime Minister, as I said off the top, I know it's taken a little while for us to get connected, and that is understandable because you have been exceptionally busy over the past couple of days, but we appreciate you taking the time tonight. That is the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dickon Mitchell. Well, our next guest says the...
Welcome back. Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat episode for today, Sunday. You can appreciate we too are having our own internal challenges with respect to telecommunications. But we want to thank Prime Minister Mitchell for this interview which he held with a reporter from Canada. And the message there is that our people are resilient, we have been tested, our strength will be restored, and it's about rebuilding lives, not just rebuilding infrastructure. And Prime Minister continues to restore hope among the population of Grenada, including Carriacou and PM. We will be going now shortly to Carriacou and to show you some of the images which was caught on camera before we invite the representative, the Honorable Tevin Andrews, to make his presentation. Here now are just some images from the devastation in Carriacou. Okay, well, as you can see, the entire island of Carriacou is roofless. The passage of that Hurricane Beryl was indeed very, very ferocious and left a number of lives, almost the entire population of Carriacou, in a devastating manner. It's going to take time in order to rebuild this island, and we can only hope and pray that the assistance will come from the international communities, the large countries which have all contributed in one way or the other to the warming of our oceans, which causes these ferocious hurricanes. And regrettably, they seem to be coming much earlier. But together we will overcome, and we will rise from the ashes. We will rise again as a nation and as a people. Carriacou and PM were essentially, they are destroyed as they know their way of life. It has changed, the way of life in Carriacou and PM. But we are certain that as the people of Carriacou and PM rebuild, they will be more resilient, they'll be stronger, they'll be better. We now would like to invite the representative for Carriacou and PM, the Honorable Tevin Andrew, as he makes his presentation on reporting what's happening in Carriacou and PM.
Hi, pleasant good morning, pleasant good morning, pleasant good morning. So we are, you can come in. We're almost ready to start the distribution process again this morning. So the team, and we have a lot of volunteers. I want to commend the volunteers coming to Carriacou from mainland Grenada, Rotary Club, a number of volunteers. So please share the live so people could see what's happening, and so we can dispel some of the rumors and also misunderstanding and miscommunication. Again, I want to reiterate that supplies are going out. The truth is, it may not be going out as fast as we like it to, because of the challenges that we have with transportation, fuel, and of course the blocking access to some parts of Carriacou. We are trying our best to get supplies throughout the island. Now look at I just want to turn to show you the team of volunteers that are here. And mind you, the boat is not here as yet. We have a barge coming up with more supplies. We have another boat coming in with more supplies. Another boat from Trinidad is coming with more supplies. So supplies is on its way. So I just wanted to show you. This is a team of volunteers that are here, volunteering their time, their efforts, making the sacrifice, making this thing happen, sorting out on the port of Harveyville. A team of volunteers that are working. So I want to personally thank them. And on this side, we're also doing sorting out. And we want to, Mr. Stafford, you good? Good man. And we're live on Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
And she's been, and the Queen, the Carriacou Queen has been working extremely hard as well. She has been working day and night. So thank you. So here the team sorting and distributing. Now if people come on the port, we're not encouraging them to come on the port to get stuff, but if you come, we wouldn't turn you away. The trucks will be going out today, shortly, and we have some things that are pre-packed on the tug that is coming up, on the barge that's coming up, so you'll also be receiving some. A boat is presently in Petit Martinique, so I'll send you the video from Petit Martinique. I'll send you. You're live on Facebook. Christy, teacher Lila. Nadina Williams, Mistress Williams, team of volunteers that are here. Emma Williams is trying to hide, but she's the one that's making all of this happen. Come, teacher Emma, let me show the people your face. You're live on Facebook, eh? I know you don't like the camera, but teacher Emma is she's the one making it happen on the port. Mr. Bristol.
Just to let them know one thing, they could send for their families
just make sure it's properly labeled. So even though it says NAGMA at the top, make sure that their name is properly labeled and it would get to them. They don't need to be frightened that it would be kept.
Right.
It's just a matter that we want to make sure that every family is taken care of and is not duplicated. Everyone will get with time.
Yes.
So we're asking the public to be patient and we'll get to you. It's just with time.
Thank you, Teacher Emma.
Yes. So for the concern, because I saw that they're concerned if they want to send to individual family members, it will not get there. It will.
Yes.
And we have testimony of it happening. Just tell us the boat, where it's coming from, and we'll deal with it. NAGMA will receive it because we don't want an influx of individuals.
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to control. Right? So NAGMA is going to take your package, secure it, and when you get here, you get your package.
Right,
Yeah.
right. In addition, the people could send individual packages on the Osprey and so on, and it will Osprey have a mechanism, the private boat have a mechanism in terms of how they can get the packages to those individuals. But of course, like with what you said, I think that was important to clear the air on that. So thank you, Teacher M. Comrade Ronaldo, thank you. I will certainly try my best to get back in touch with you. What we need right now is some boots on the ground, so I'm with the people, so I would try my best to get a hold of you very soon. But I want you to share to the world what is happening. As I want to reiterate, there's a boat in PT Matnik. PT Matnik received a boatload of stuff yesterday. They called me yesterday to tell me, Minister, we are overwhelmed. I said, what are you overwhelmed with? We have too much food and we don't know how to store it. I said, well, that's a good problem to have. So they have a good problem of having lots of food, but they may not know how to store it. They'll have to find storage for it. And not just find storage, but to distribute. So they're now actively distributing. So right now as we speak, there's a team actively distributing stuff in PT Matnik to various homes. And there's a team on the port receiving goods. Likewise in Carriacou, we have a team that is sorting, preparing, and getting ready now to distribute. As I said, if there are people that are in need of stuff, badly in need of stuff, and you can get to the port Harveyville, you can, yes, get here. You can get the stuff that no one will turn you away. And this is not about politics. It's no green, no yellow, no purple, no pink, no nothing. We're all in this together. So yes, I'm wearing a green vest. This has nothing to do with politics. This is just the vest that the team has, and some are wearing orange and others. It has nothing to do with politics. I just please dispel this rumors, this untruth. But it's all miscommunication and misunderstanding, so I could understand. But I just wanted to show you. There are some places like Hermitage, I know that stuff wasn't sent there because of the access. Stuff will be sent there today. There are some places like Montgelou. My Montgelou, the access was an issue. We heard the cry. Stuff will be sent there today. And other hard to reach places, we are getting stuff there today and of course tomorrow and so on. So we understand, we empathize, but it wasn't deliberate. Understand again that we said the place was blocked. We didn't have fuel. To get today was a challenge. But we encouraging people to stay calm and help us to be positive. Help us to be positive. Love you all. This was just a short update. Thank you. Bye. All right. So I just want to dispel a rumor that's been circulated. If you have family members in Carriacou and you wish to send stuff up, you can do so with whatever boats. Whether you have a fishing trawler, whether it's the Osprey, the Tilbury Express, no one will restrict you. You put it on your family's name. Your family come and collect it whenever it comes to Carriacou. NADMA is not taking anybody's private stuff. I want to just dispel that immediately. Secondly, yes, we're encouraging people not to come to Carriacou unless you're coming to assist, or unless you're coming to do some assessment or something. There are people that are just coming to Carriacou to just do sightseeing, and you're adding additional pressure, unnecessary pressure on the limited resources that we have here. So if you're coming to assist, if you're coming to give relief and so on, if you're coming to volunteer, then yes, please come.
I want you to dispel also that there are people, NDCites in NADMA, that are giving the stuff to NDCites and NNP people are not getting anything.
That is absolute rubbish. This is not the time for this. This is not the time for the politics. Let's leave the politics aside. This has nothing to do with any P or any political party or any. This has to do with getting the relief and trying to get it out to people as fast as we can. We understand the reality. Before we had no transportation because most of the transport was was down because they had no fuel. We had no access to certain places, so obviously we couldn't get to some places, we couldn't get to some people. Now all of that is sorted. We have food on the island, we have gas on the island, more transportation will be coming up, so certainly we'll be able to reach some of the areas that we were not able to reach. This is day 5 after the storm, this devastating hurricane. Are we getting everything perfect? No, we're not getting everything perfect. This is the first time all of us experience something as catastrophic and devastating like this. This is a time where we need all hands on deck. Everyone can help. There are people in Carriacou that are sitting doing absolutely nothing. Driving around doing nothing. All hands are needed at this time so that we can help bring relief to people in the inner areas and so on. Yesterday someone died in a community, it's still affecting me, a senior citizen, because the support and the assistance didn't get to him on time. I want to encourage people, if make sure that everyone is accounted for in your community, especially the seniors who cannot help themselves. We have given instruction to the police. They are now out in various villages, starting with Mount Pleasant, to do search and rescue efforts. There are some inner areas that are still inaccessible. If you have chainsaws, go up to the NADMA building or go to the station, get fuel, get to the inner areas that are still blocked, and help us clear it. It cannot be left alone up to NADMA. It has to be an all-inclusive approach, because we're all in this together. I heard some people talking, listen, I'm homeless, my mother is homeless, most of the family members are homeless.
Your sister is by us.
And they have to stand and wait for the truck the same way like everybody else. See, my son is with his family, and they have to stand in the street and wait for supply the same way. So there's no preferential treatment here. Even me have to wait for supplies. So please, we're all in this together.
Thank you.
Forget the green, the yellow, the politics. This is not time for politics. All hands are needed on deck.
Thank you, Minister.
Well said.
Hi everybody. Just a quick one. So you can share the live. It's just a quick update before the day ends. I just thought it was important to update you as we go along with what we are doing. Just to update you with what we are doing here in Carriacou and PM. So you can share the live, you can share the update. So today was a day of triumph and success. Today we did much better in terms of distribution of our supplies and so on. We did much better today than yesterday and the other days. And you have to understand, with time we are going to improve. So I know what I'm happy about is that the people who on social media who got complaints, they reached out to us and they told us exactly where the complaints were coming from and the areas in terms of where we missed. And because we got additional pickups and so on from Grenada, thank you Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell for sending up extra vehicles. We managed to go into the tough areas and the difficult areas that we were not able to go into. So I'm happy that we did that. So more supplies were distributed today, and supplies were distributed in areas that wasn't touched properly. As I said, we got additional resources in terms of the pickups, the trucks, heavy equipment, and so on. So this is a very good thing. Positive again is that Grenlec team is working on trying to restore power. You heard the manager give an update on that. So they're going to try to get the plant up and going, and of course get our clinic up and going very soon, and other parts of Carriacou. So that's positive. Another thing that we are seeing that we haven't seen before is that people are now starting to clean up around the areas, and we want to encourage people to start clean up around your areas, making it, because the reality is we are going to kick back, we are going to get back, we are going to do so. And so an announcement we're going to be making soon is for us to do an island-wide cleanup campaign. We have some heavy equipment, as I said, and some trucks, so very soon we started the process of cleaning up from a NADMA government standpoint, and we're going to aggressively do it now. You see, in the past, before we didn't have the heavy equipment and the trucks and so on. Now that we have it, we are going to intensify it to do more of it. So so you and we need all hands on deck. This cannot be an operation just for the government. This has to be an operation for this has to be an operation for everybody. Everybody, all hands need to get on deck. And you know, one of the reasons the operation today was a little bit successful, because all hands was on deck. A lot of people was complaining and say, oh, the supplies are not getting to me, the supplies are not getting to me. What are you doing? I said, sign up and become a volunteer. You know the supplies are not getting at, get on the truck, and you assist in leading the charge in ensuring that your area gets the supply. And that has assisted in a big way. We are all in this together, and therefore all hands needs to get on board. So there are some positive. Carriacou and PM, we will build back. We will build back stronger, we'll build back better, and we'll build back smarter. It's not a process that's going to happen overnight. It takes all hands on deck. All hands on deck to make it a reality. So I want to thank all the volunteers, each and every one who've made it possible for today's success. Thank you very much for making today's operation a huge success. And I have absolutely no doubt that tomorrow, God's willing, it's going to be even better. And the reason for that is because we have more machinery, more manpower. And I want to thank the Grenadians. Oh my goodness, the volunteers from Grenada who came up today. Hats off to you. Hats off to you, the people from Grenada, the groups, the organizations who came out in your numbers to assist in organizing, in sorting out, in going around and distribute, and so on. Thank you a million. I really appreciate you. I thank you so much. We couldn't have done it without you. So once again, thank you to all of the Grenadians. And I want to thank all of you, the family members, who are taking it up on your own, to send food stuff and different items up to your family and friends and loved ones, to augment and to assist with what we are doing from a NADMA standpoint. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So again, we are not perfect. We may not get everything right, but certainly one step at a time. Each day we improve, we get better, and with that, I believe we are going to build back better and stronger. It's the spirit of the people, the energy of the people, the resilience. Amazing. So thanks once again. And yes, we know that not all the time the support might. In the beginning, we missed a couple things, but with time, always with time, we get it right, and we are getting there. As for PM, the supplies are going there in droves. As for the senior citizens, I saw someone ask a question about the senior citizen. The senior citizens, as I said, was transferred to Grenada, so they are in Grenada again. Prime Minister has been leading that charge, and that's the senior citizens from the Top Hill Senior Citizen Home and other seniors from PM and Carriacou. We are encouraging them to evacuate to Grenada, especially those with medical conditions, because the situation in Carriacou and PM is rough and tough, and we want to ensure that our seniors are well taken care of. So thank you. Have a good one. Share the live. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast for today, Sunday. We want to thank Representative for Carriacou and PM, the Honorable Tevin Andrew, for this very comprehensive reporting as to what has happened and what is happening in Carriacou and PM. He has shown real strengths. He has been tested, his spirit, his strength. Equally so, the spirit and strength of the people of Carriacou and PM have been tested. It's a matter of restoring hope, and I think that the Representative Tevin Andrew has been really doing a fantastic job out in Carriacou, helping to restore hope to his constituents. Continue with the good work, Brother Tevin, and of course, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell has made several visits to Carriacou, giving support to his giving support to his cabinet colleague, Tevin Andrew, and giving hope and aspiration to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Now we would go to the representative for St. Andrew Southeast. He is the Minister of Education, the Honorable David Andrew, as he gives a report on his constituency. So coming up would be the Honorable Senator, the Honorable David Andrew, as he reports on St. Andrew Southeast constituency.
Good afternoon, Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. This is David Andrew, Senator and representative of the government for St. Andrew Southeast. I am indeed delighted to be able to speak with you in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. And first, I would like to give thanks to God for His mercies and His keeping power. Indeed, things could have been worse. And across St. Andrew Southeast, having gone through the constituency and having engaged constituents, the damage and loss has not been as severe as we have seen in some other parts, and we give God thanks for that. We take the opportunity to commend and praise the resilience of people across St. Andrew Southeast. Even on the Monday evening, there was a move to clean up and to clear, and whatever fallen trees came across the street and across dung lines, and that community and resilient spirit was clearly noticed, and you're being commended for that. We acknowledge that though that there are some of you who have experienced loss, and we empathize with you. Any loss can be significant, and we know there are a few of you who have lost your roof in some cases, in some cases agricultural produce. Notwithstanding that it is not as severe as in other territories and areas, a loss is loss, and it could be just as significant for anyone. And so we empathize with you, and I'm happy we were able to reach out to many of you and engage the processes for whatever support could be available. We thank you for your patience, as many of you waited a day or two in some cases without the utilities, but we know that most of the St. Andrew Southeast villages have been restored water and electricity. My quick surveys indicate that it's only the area of Telescope that is without water, but there is electricity there. And I want to take the time to commend the utilities, the utility companies, Grenlec, Nawasa, Flow, Digicel, all of them. They've been working assiduously, and in particular Grenlec and Nawasa, to restore services. And in some cases, some people had water back the night before, but we are just happy that most communities across St. Andrew Southeast, from Crowshoe all the way up, now enjoy reconnection of both electricity and water. And for those in the Telescope area who are yet to receive water, we empathize, and we ask other community residents to share, to use that community spirit and allow others, probably from neighboring communities, to be able to share and let the true Grenadian spirit come out. So we thank the utility companies for the indefatigable effort. They too are humans. They too have had families who have been affected. In many cases, they too probably suffer from some of those same inconveniences. So while it is inconvenient for us, and while we empathize, we understand that they have limitations as well. But thank you, utility companies. We take this moment to remember our sisters and brothers on the sister isles of Carriacou and PM, who have suffered immensely more damage and more loss than any of us on the mainland. And we know that supplies are being sent to Carriacou and PM. We commend those who keep supplying, the personnel, people who keep going, but I pray that God will continue to supply every need, be it supplies, be it personnel. I pray that God will give them peace of mind in this troubling time. Grace, His grace that is sufficient, and His strength, His peace that passes all understanding. May they have that even though physically things around them may look chaotic. And so we pray for God's continued grace, strength, and guidance for them. We can't help but remember too our other Caribbean neighbors, even those close to Carriacou and PM, Union Island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and even other Caribbean territories further away who have been impacted negatively by the system. So back home though, to St. Andrew Southeast, we commend your community spirit in cleaning and clearing and volunteering. And that volunteerism stretched not just to your own community, but yesterday we recognized many of you came to St. Patrick, and some of you are there today. And so that is commendable, and we encourage you to keep that spirit of community growing. So the government of Grenada is committed to rebuilding better and stronger. We are also committed to seizing the opportunities that rest within these challenges. We pray for God's continued grace, strength, and peace for each of you as you go through this difficult time. Rest assured of the government's commitment to doing all it can to support each and every citizen, not just across St. Andrew Southeast, but across the entire Tri-Island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and PM. God's richest blessings. Good afternoon.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We want to thank Senator the Honorable David Andrew for his reporting on his constituency. He is the caretaker representative for St. Andrew Southeast. And want to thank him for this reporting out there. And to thank all the persons out in St. Andrew Southeast who gave support, lent assistance, provided labor, and just encouragement to everyone who came out yesterday and earlier to provide assistance in cleaning up and clearing up the community. There are those who went all the way on to St. Patrick, which was one of the areas in Grenada heavily impacted as a result of the passage of Hurricane Beryl. So we want to extend thanks and appreciation to all of you who came out yesterday to assist various representatives. You had out there Representative Cornwall, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall. You also had Joseph Handel. They all were out there along with Quince Britton, the caretaker representative for St. Mark, and they were all joined by other representatives, other cabinet colleagues of theirs joined them there with residents from far and wide to help clean up the area in St. Patrick, which was, heavily impacted by this hurricane. So we're going to have a short further update from Senator Andrew as he gives a further update as to what's happening in his constituency. A very short update, but still very important. Here now is Senator David Andrew.
With a quick update for what was previously announced. Residents of Telescope have now received water thanks to the hard and dedicated work of the staff of NAWASA. So residents of Telescope who were among the last.
Well, it seems as though we just have to have a short delay on that note there. There was some background noises which was not suitable for the broadcast, so we'll come back to that update. But essentially, the update was saying to the people of Telescope that water has now been restored early this morning by NAWASA. So thank you very much, the team at NAWASA, in reconnecting villages and communities and parishes. It has been just a wonderful exercise indeed. And thank you, Grenlec, for also restoring power to many villages. So here now is that clip from...
Good afternoon again, my brother. As a quick update to what was previously announced, the residents of Telescope have now received water thanks to the hard and dedicated work of the staff of NAWASA. So residents of Telescope, who were among the last to receive water after the passage of Beryl, they now have running water. So all of the constituents across St. Andrew Southeast now enjoy both water and electricity thanks to all the hardworking staff of our utilities. Just thought I'd update to what was previously said. Thank you.
Thank you too, Senator Andrew. For those of you listening, you would realize that we have a little bit of feedback here and there, and it's because of challenges which we are facing with the internet and also lack of manpower in the studio, because remember, each and every one of us, we have our own unique challenges at home, etc. So we want to thank Blundell for being out this morning, and for those who couldn't make it within the team, we understand, but we thank you for your continued assistance and support. So at this time, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be taking in a report from Senator Quince Britton. He is the caretaker representative out in St. Mark. So here we go with Senator Quince Britton.
We are currently engaged in our cleanup campaign in the immediate aftermath from Hurricane Beryl. We too suffer a significant amount of damages, but we still grateful to God we have life and our people are in high spirits. We had as much as 70 families that was adversely affected, and some properties were totally destroyed, some partially destroyed. Thankfully, everyone has a safe place to call their home right now, and we just want to encourage the people of St. Mark that our government is here, and this exercise this morning, this cleanup campaign, together with other constituency, is just a show of demonstration, show of force. What we are doing, we are here with you, and I just encourage you to keep strong. We will get through this together. We will rebuild stronger and better. So we are here in St. Mark. We will be moving on to St. Patrick. Once we clean up St. Mark, we move to St. Patrick's, and then we will be coming next weekend. We will be coming to Carriacou and PM. So we have our team of volunteers. I must say a heartfelt thank you to them who turned out in the numbers from since as early as 5 o'clock this morning. We had persons out here ready to clean up and so on. So thank you to the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, the Honorable Annie Williams, your ministry. Thank you very much for assisting us here in St. Mark. We are really immensely grateful for you providing that assistance to us, and we will be moving on. As we say, right now the focus, we just finished Lassus area. We're moving on to Maracaibo. We have Diamond, we have Nonpareil and Fountain in St. Mark. Those are the areas that were mostly affected. So we are doing our bit to clean up. So thank you. Have a good day.
The NDC Heartbeat podcast. I want to thank Senator the Honorable Quince Britton for his reporting out of St. Mark. And I want to thank all the individuals who came out to lend support to Senator Britton, and indeed all the other representatives, individuals, etc., who have all come together to provide assistance in this national cleanup exercise, which continues out in St. Patrick and other villages throughout Grenada. The vision was indeed of the leadership of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is indeed infectious. It's a good infection to have, where people voluntarily come out and help clean up their communities resulting from the passage of this most terrible hurricane. Here now is the representative for St. Patrick East, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, with an update.
Good morning, Terry. We are again out in the field trying to clean up the roads in St. Patrick East. We are currently close to the Mount George area, near to the SDA Comprehensive Secondary School, and we are trying to clean up on the roadside trees that have fallen. I'm going to give you a snapshot of my small crew in this area here, so you can have a feel of what is happening on the ground. Okay, thank you very much. We are working, so we would not want to wait too long. Have a great day.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast. You would realize from time to time that the audio may be a little bit high at times. It's simply because we are short of manpower in the studio. And we will just reach out to our friends who assist us in the studio that we understand your challenges and look forward in seeing you next week. But rain, thunder, lightning, we're making the Heartbeat possible today. I want to thank Blundell for coming out and acting in several capacities. He's doing a great job today as we try to get this episode out to you. So what we're going to do is to try to get on to Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette. He is from the constituency of St. George Northwest, and we'll be getting his presentation very shortly as Blundell try to get it all queued up, because he's doing 3, 4, maybe 5 functions there all by himself. So I understand the challenge which he faces. I certainly would hope that you understand, the challenges that the Heartbeat face today. But here it is, Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, representative for, or in fact the caretaker representative for St. George Northwest.
Comrade Terry, blessed morning to you and all our viewers and listeners across the state of Grenada, which includes Carriacou and PM, as well as those in the diaspora. As it relates to the passage of Hurricane Beryl and St. George Northwest, in preparation for the hurricane, we have 7 shelters in St. George Northwest. We activated those shelters very early, simply because persons realize that infrastructurally their homes may not be able to withstand the winds and of the hurricane, and as a result there were a few persons that gravitated towards the shelters very early, and as a result of that we had to activate all 7 shelters, as well as the shelter managers, to move especially 1 or 2 vulnerable elderly persons.
We're just taking just a short pause from the presentation from Senator Lacrette, just to say to those of you who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM 105.5 out of Grenville, that we are inviting you basically to switch over to our online platform, NDC Facebook or YouTube. So thank you very much for joining the Heartbeat today, but we will be continuing with these presentations. Just join us online. Thank you very much. Here now is the continuation of Senator Lacrette's reporting.
Moved, etc. So we facilitated that via transport. As it relates to the shelters and the number of persons who occupied the shelters across the constituency, so we have the Fontenoy Community Center, and we had 38 persons occupying the Fontenoy Community Center. We have the Grand Mall 7-Day Adventist Church, and we had just 2 persons occupying that shelter. A matter of fact, we did not not need to really have a shelter manager for that shelter. After a particular period of time, we had to deploy that person to another shelter because it only had 2 persons, and they were all right. They were fine because they walked with the necessary things that they would need in order for them to be able to ride out the storm. We also have the Mount Morris SDA Church, Seventh-day Adventist Church. We had one elderly man at the Mount Morris Elderly Church, and please note that both at Grand Mall and Mount Morris, our district NADMA coordinator perused those 2 places periodically just to ensure that the elderly man and the 2 persons that were at Grand Mall, that they were safe and that they were doing okay. At the Happy Hill Primary School, we had 38 persons occupying the Happy Hill Primary School, or better known as the Uganda Martyrs Catholic Primary School, and they were fine. We were able to ensure that the residents of the constituency who occupied the Happy Hill Primary School, that they had breakfast as well as lunch, as best as we can accommodate them. At the Happy Hill Secondary School, we had 38 persons. We had 84 persons at the Happy Hill Secondary School, and 84 to 90 residents, I believe, about 90 persons who occupied the Happy Hill Secondary School. And the Brizan Community Center, as well as the Bouchejou Community Center, they are not designated hurricane shelters. However, during the passage of the hurricane, some persons left their homes and couldn't get to Happy Hill Primary or Happy Hill Secondary, and as a result, they had to find a safe space at Brizan Community Center as well as Bouchejou Community Center. So at the Bouchejou Community Center, we had I believe 6 persons, and at the Brizan Community Center we had 11 residents from Brizan occupying the Brizan Community Center, and they were all safe. All right, so that's in a nutshell in terms of the statistics of persons occupying the various community centers and or churches throughout the constituency. By Tuesday morning, very early, 5:30, 6 o'clock, persons started leaving the shelters and returning home. The majority of persons who were at the shelters or who occupied the shelters, their homes were not damaged, so they were able to return home in a very safe space. As it relates to any damages done throughout the constituency, gratefully, by the grace and mercies of God, we did not have much of that at all. There were 4 roofs that were completely blown away or blown off. There were 5 roofs that were partially damaged, and we had 1 house that was a board and ply house, along with its roof that was partially damaged. If my memory serves me correctly, we also had 1 house that was a board house along with its veranda that was partially damaged. We also had 1 house that was flattened by the hurricane, completely blown away, and we had about 4 houses with their windows being broken, not blown away, but it's just that the windows were broken. I must indeed say that the shelters were excellently managed under the district coordinating leadership of Dr. Malachi Dottin. There were also a number of council members from the Council for Human and Social Development for St. George Northwest. There were a number of council members who assisted shelter managers. They also slept in the shelters and assisted shelter managers in their duties, and I think that is extremely commendable, and I want to thank all the members of the council publicly, as well as Dr. Dottin and the St. George Northwest NADMA district team, everybody who comprised that team and came out and put their hands to the wheel to ensure that we had an extremely flawless management of our shelters. It is greatly appreciated. Water was a bit of an issue throughout the various shelters, and we did our best to ensure that we acquire water for the residents. We did not encounter any serious challenges with residents at the shelter. Generally, everyone was respected, and everyone respected the stipulated rules for the shelters and abided by it. All residents, as I said before, left very early Tuesday morning. The shelters were then cleaned and sanitized and ready to be handed over to the principals and or pastors of the respective communities. Lastly, I would just like to mention that there are one or two persons who desired to have some food stuff post hurricane, which we have done, and we're still trying to ensure that we get some of those food stuff to some of these persons, as well as water, because they requested it, because they don't have, and we will certainly oblige because we understand the circumstances and the situation. I've sent the photos for you so that the general public can have a viewing. We did have a number of trees falling, one or two slides, etc., but very early in the morning, community residents came out in their numbers and they facilitated the cleaning. Of course, the debris on the side of the road, they just wanted to ensure that there is some degree of transportation access throughout the constituency, and that was done. So over the past few days, into the next few days coming, I believe trucks are going to collect the debris and ensure that they are placed in the correct place where they're supposed to be. But by and large, the constituency is fine. We are definitely going to work together to ensure that those persons who had or experienced minimal damages or minimal damage, they are going to definitely be restored infrastructurally. Blessings to you and everyone, and good morning St. George Northwest, and good morning Grenada, Carriacou and PM.
Thank you, Senator Lecret, for this reporting. He is the caretaker representative for St. George Northwest. Coming up would be a report coming out from St. Andrew Northwest, the Honorable Delma Thomas. She'll be reporting on that constituency. That's her constituency, St. Andrew Northwest. Here now is the Honorable Delma Thomas. And then we will follow by the caretaker representative for St. Andrew Northeast, Dr. Tessa Sincere. Here now is the Honorable Delma Thomas.
On my constituency today, with a heavy heart, but also with immense pride in the resilience and spirit of our community. As you know, Hurricane Beryl has left significant mark on St. Andrew Northwest. Over 30 families' homes have been affected by the passage of the hurricane, and the majority of our agricultural land has been devastated. This is really a hard blow for all of us. However, in these challenging times, it is heartening to witness the unwavering spirit of our people. Despite the hardship, there is a remarkable sense of unity and optimism among the affected families. They are not allowing this disaster to break their resolve. Instead, they are banding together, helping each other, and rebuilding their lives with courage and determination. I have visited the Maribor Hospital, which is located in the constituency, and I want to applaud the staff for their hard work and dedication in keeping patients safe there. I've also visited the Kajana Home for the Aged, and they too have worked remarkably hard to ensure that their residents are safe and secure, even during this challenging time. I visited several communities and speaking with villagers and community members, and I am pleased to say that despite the challenges, they are ready and willing to assist in ensuring that we build back better. I also want to extend my deepest appreciation to our Prime Minister and the government for the effective response in this crisis. I believe this is one of the reasons why so many of our people are in high spirit, because they believe or they are seeing a future, a brighter future, knowing that this government will do all in its power to assist the farmers, to assist the homeowners who do not have insurance, and generally the people who need our assistance at this time. And so we'll continue to work together as a constituency. We'll continue to soldier on together as we strive to rebuild our country. I would like to also, on behalf of the constituency, extend my heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated workers of Grand Neck and Nawassa, the unwavering commitment and tireless effort in restoring or working to restore essential services after the devastation caused by the hurricane are truly commendable. The hurricane left a trail of disruption in the constituency, making their task even more daunting. Grand Neck workers can be seen on the poles across the constituency, even late at night, working diligently to restore power, while Nawassa workers traverse treacherous and dismal terrain to ensure water reaches every household. And even though my water supply has not yet been restored, I am deeply impressed by their determination, hard work, and dedication, appreciating what they have to go through, trying to ensure that we in Moncton, Lafayette, and surrounding areas receive water in short order. And so we are happy and will continue to work together to restore our beautiful Tri-Island state, to restore our beautiful constituency of St. Andrew Northwest.
Thank you very much indeed, Representative for St. Andrew Northwest, the Honourable Delmer Thomas, for your reporting. And we thank you indeed, and the residents who come out to provide assistance in helping to rebuild the community. We have another reporting coming out of St. Andrew, but due to technical difficulties, we're unable to bring you the report from St. Andrew Southwest. The representative there is Lennox Andrew. Due to technical difficulties, we are unable to bring his report. But coming up would be a report from the caretaker representative for St. Andrew Northeast, Dr. Tessa Sincere. Here now is Dr. Tessa Sincere. No audio. We seem to have some audio issues with her piece here, so for those of you who are online, of course, these are photos from the constituency of the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast. She is the caretaker representative, and she too has been out in the community with volunteers assisting in St. Andrew Northeast to bring back normalcy to that constituency. So much has happened between the corridor of St. Andrew and St. Patrick. The eye, or part of the eye of the hurricane, affected that part of Grenada in a very serious way. Of course, the main eye of the hurricane passed over Carriacou and PM, but the St. Patrick area and St. Andrew area were heavily impacted in a negative way, and lots of tree crops were lost. The agriculture sector, really got quite a battering. We have had reports of several productive trees like nutmegs, cocoa, banana, spices, breadfruit tree. Lots of these trees are down, and therefore it's going to take some time before you see these trees flourishing once again. It has been 20 years since we have had a similar attack, put it that way, of a hurricane on our land. And after 20 years of rebuilding, the resilience of our people have been tested, and to have now experienced another hurricane is indeed quite traumatic. But we are a resilient people, and while the hurricane may have tested our spirits and our strengths, we will rise again. We will rise again from the ashes, and we will overcome and go again. We will then now just go on a short break, and back with you in a moment.
Violence is never the answer. Let's talk it out. We need a safe space for our children to grow up, so let us respect each other. You see this little light of mine? I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna keep it burning for the children is looking on. So let's take advantage of the gun amnesty in full effect until July 30th. Remember, the answer is love. A message from the Ministry of National Security. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna keep it burning.
The gun amnesty remains in effect until July 30th. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast. Today's Sunday. It's bright outside. Looks like another beautiful Sunday afternoon, but the memories of Hurricane Beryl lingers on in our minds. And while we continue to show strength and resilience, we have to deal with reality. Here now are some photos of Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph. Somehow we could not get her audio going, so we do apologize for that. But here are some pics for those of you who are online of her visit within her constituency of the Tongue of St. George. She has been up and about visiting residents, inspecting buildings, those who may have lost roofs or who have had damaged walls or damages sustained to their buildings, their properties, etc. Senator Claudette Joseph has been up and about, meeting with residents, especially the aged, those who are shut-ins. She has been visiting these individuals, ensuring that they're okay and that their supplies are met. So we want to thank you, Senator Joseph, for attempting to submit this report to us, but for whatever technical reason, we are unable to air the audio from your reporting. So we apologize for that. The infrastructure here with the internet is not all of the best today, so we do apologize for that. But that was, for those of you viewing online, these are pictures of Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph as she moved through her constituency, which is the Tongue of St. George, providing an update to the general public as to the condition in which Hurricane Beryl would have affected her constituency. We're sorry that we don't have the ability to share the audio, so hopefully next week we'll attempt to do so. And from this reporting now, we will go over to Senator Adrian Thomas. We will get to that very shortly as we try to load up that audio-visual presentation. He is basically sending out hope to not just the people of Grenada, but those who visit Grenada on a regular basis, sharing confirmation of the fact that our hotel sector is still intact on mainland Grenada, and extending an invitation to tourists and visitors to Grenada that our hotel sector is still intact. And so we will bring you a report coming out of Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, Minister for Tourism.
Greetings. As Minister for Tourism, I am pleased to inform you that despite the passage of Hurricane Beryl, Grenada's tourism infrastructure remains intact and its supporting facilities, inclusive of water, telephone, electricity, and internet, are fully operational. The Maurice Bishop International Airport is opened, and flights are arriving and departing on schedule from all source markets. Additionally, ports of entry and docking facilities, hotels, resorts, guest houses, restaurants, bars, attractions, and service providers are welcoming guests with the warmth and hospitality that Grenada is known for. I emphasize that safety and well-being of our visitors and residents are always our top priorities, and we have taken all necessary measures to ensure that our tourism plant and people are fully prepared to continue providing exceptional service and immersive experiences. The Government of Grenada, with support from the international community, continues to provide the necessary support for for our sister isles of Carriacou and PM, located in the Grenadines, and was severely impacted by the passage of the hurricane. We are unwavering in our commitment to restoring and enhancing all our destinations to provide the best possible experience for our returning nationals, visitors, and guests. We are grateful for the support and concern shown by our global community, and especially our tourism partners, and look forward to welcoming you to our shows. Whether you are planning a vacation, a business trip, a cultural exploration, Grenada remains a safe, vibrant, and inviting destination. Thank you for your continued confidence in Grenada. We are excited to share our island's beauty and culture with you. Greetings.
Thank you very much, Minister for Tourism and Culture, Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, as he gave reassuring words to the international community that our hotel sector, the hotel plant in Grenada, thankfully is alive and well, and inviting visitors to visit mainland Grenada because our hotels are intact and all the ancillary services are intact. So thank you, Senator Thomas, for this reassuring bit of information. Also, I want to take this opportunity to extend condolences to the few persons who may have lost their lives over the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Certainly one person from the tongue of St. George, and the message from Senator Claudette Joseph Wood had alluded to the fact that one person lost, their life, unfortunately, and she was going to extend condolences, but because of the audio challenge, we were unable to bring that message from her. So on behalf of Senator Joseph, I want to extend condolences to the family and friends of the person who lost their life in the tongue of St. George. Also in Carriacou, there were 2 deaths resulting from the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Our condolences to the families out there and friends of the family. May you continue to keep strong under the circumstances, and God give you the strength and the courage to persevere. Well, I think this is the end of our programming for today. I want to thank you for joining the Heartbeat. We've had some internal challenges ourselves, so we do apologize for the quality of the reporting today. But join us again next Sunday when we'll have another program for you. Thank you, and do have a pleasant Sunday afternoon. Goodbye. Until next week.
For a period spanning 60 hours, the Grenadian Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, carried out his marathon shift with regular briefings, over a dozen of them as Hurricane Beryl barreled towards his nation. What one Facebook poster called his calm, assuring presence was a common denominator in both the preparation for and the immediate aftermath of the dangerous system that eventually battered Carriacou and PM. It has had even sometimes regular critics taking note and heaping praise. You are all on the ball like the Boston Celtics, digital creator and social commentator Kitaka Mautu wrote. Michelle Dollar-Lewis said, "I am impressed with the Prime Minister. Your presence is reassuring." Aides speak about a Prime Minister going on little sleep and spending most of his time at the headquarters of the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA. Between the high-profile on-air updates, the Prime Minister held briefings with disaster management officials, public servants, cabinet colleagues, community leaders, even while fielding calls from overseas leaders, among others. One person at NADMA said he was restless, pushing for urgent action on all fronts. One supermarket owner said he was surprised to have received a random call from the Prime Minister. A private water distributor said the same. He was himself seeking assurances that supply chains remain open as Grenadians rush their preparations. Devon Rashi, a former opposition candidate and pastor, said the regular updates from NADMA is highly appreciated. The PM being at these updates is exceptional and quite reassuring. Great job. For real, excellent update. Quinta Charles, who until a day before, critical of the Grenadian leader for his response to a reporter's question, stated after one of the many briefings was aired. The Prime Minister was said to be hands-on from the very beginning, and in an era of social media dominance, his voice and face were everywhere as Grenada got ready for the storm. There were a few who provided jabs on social media, leading at one point to an admonition for a self-declared government opponent and critic. The New York-based activist from Petit Martinique declared, "Leave politics for another day. The government is doing its best."
And let us remain united, let us remain strong, and let us rally behind our brothers and sisters, particularly those impacted in the north of the island and those impacted in Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
I am Nikita Wells reporting.
Greetings.